Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And once again, I'm joined by the wonderful Erica. She has a channel called Ode to Erica. I'm going to leave a link to it down below, so definitely make sure to show her some love. And in today's episode, we're going to be going over 5 fragrances that we love and 5 fragrances that we hate. We're excited to share our list with you, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before we begin this video and we tell you all about these 5 fragrances that we love and 5 that we hate, and we also explain some of the reasons why we love them and hate them respectively, I want to start things off by saying that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you could be notified whenever we do upload future videos to the channel. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you took something of value from today's episode. And once again, definitely make sure to go over to Erica's channel. Check her out. She is super consistent, very passionate, high quality content, and she is quite the expert on men's and women's fragrances. How's it going, Erica?
Good. Thank you for the very nice words.
It's quite sweet. Long.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I've been watching your videos, and I see that you're really into it, and you have quite the collection yourself, and
it's growing.
Yeah, it's always growing, right?
It's like quadrupled in size since I started a few months ago. So
I can't even imagine what it's going to look like next year.
I know, me either. Crazy.
Hey, if it means you're going to deliver us more content, then sign us up. So you are the guest today, the honorary guest, Erica. So would you like to start with the 5 you love or the 5 you hate?
I think we'll start with love.
Okay, let's do it.
Start on a positive note. So the first one on my list, your viewers have already heard me talk about, maybe, is Spice Bomb Extreme by Viktor and Rolf. It doesn't really need too much of an explanation. It's just basically one of the most iconic designer fragrances for the fall and winter. So well blended, tobacco, vanilla. It's sweet, but still very warm and spicy. I mean, I like the whole Spice Bomb line, honestly, but this one's definitely my favorite.
I personally love everything Spice Bomb. There's only one that I didn't care about, which was, I think, Night Vision Eau de Toilette, but that fragrance is incredible. Yeah. Would you like to do all 5 at once, or should we take turns again?
You could take turns.
All right, we'll take turns. I personally love Rouge à Parfum Oceania. This is a great floral fragrance, but despite the florals, there's a lot of citrus. There's a lot of other things happening in here. It's very easy to get along with. It's not an aquatic fragrance, believe it or not, but it's such a unique, fresh fragrance, super high quality, great lasting power. Definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, so the next one on my list of ones that I love, don't have the bottle. Sorry to the bottle, please, if you're watching. This one is Armani Code Absolute. This is one that multiple of my subscribers told me to go out and smell. And when I finally did, I was blown away. It's so hot, so sweet and spicy. It's so weird to try to describe fragrances like that, like sweet and sour, sweet and spicy. It makes me think of like the McDonald's like sauce. Like, can I say that? But I love the nutmeg note in it, and that was really good in the designer world.
Absolutely agree. I love the vanilla in there. And I definitely have a vanilla fragrance on this list as well, combining it with Iris and Ambrette. And this one by Christian Dior is Dior Homme Intense. Now, this is not the first formulation. It's like the second or third or whatever, but I just love that starchy iris, very lipstick smelling. But I also love the vanilla and some of the other sweeter ingredients in here. So definitely one of my favorites for the colder weather, at least fall and winter. This is perfect.
I know we're kind of going into fall and winter, but here in Miami, it's summer year round.
That's right.
So the next one on my list is, I'm not sure people really talk about this house too much, but this is John Varvatos Artisan Pure. I mean, I know people know about it, obviously, but I don't see a lot of people talking about it. But I smelled this for the first time a couple of years ago, and it's one of my favorites for the spring and summer. This has a lot of citrus, a little bit of ginger, some green notes, and I think it's more on the unique side first. Like, I feel like, a lot of people reach for things like, light blue intense, and, maybe Lamal or something like that. But I think this is a little different. So, and I got this for $25 at TJ Maxx. So
that's an incredible find.
Yeah.
And that's a great fragrance too.
Yeah. And I like a few of the other ones from John Varvatos as well. I like the original, John Varvatos as well. I got a sample of that a couple months ago. So really good. So if you live somewhere hot, go check the TJ Maxx.
They're all really good. Artisan, Artisan Blue, Artisan Pure. The only one I didn't like was Star USA. That could have been on the hate list, but pretty much everything else is really good. So I know I'm going to get crucified for the next one, but I figured I'd mention it because it is kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. And after wearing it a lot recently, I see just how well it does. And I just love the way that it makes me feel. I love the responses that I get when I wear this one. And this one, believe it or not, I know I didn't give it the highest marks when I reviewed it, but I've actually done a 180 on it. This one is Gucci Guilty. So this one has the orange blossom in there. It has a lot of citrus in there. I want to say this one was composed by Jacques Huclier. Don't quote me on it. The same guy that did Angel for Men. But this one is a really interesting, fresh fragrance, a little bit on the nondescript side, but it has all of the elements in here that just make you smell like a well-groomed individual, very confident, compliment getting. And honestly, I'm really enjoying this one. I don't like Gucci Guilty Absolute. That one is just a really rough and tumble leather. Can't get along with that one. But the original Gucci Guilty Eau de Toilette is actually a great fragrance. I'm looking forward to wearing it a lot more in the months to come.
Okay, so my number 4 is Lazy Sunday Morning by Maison Margiela, the replica line. And this smells exactly like the name. And it's one of those unisex fragrances that is truly unisex. It doesn't really, in my opinion, lean feminine or masculine. It's like right in the middle, and it smells just like, basically clean linens. It's a very clean fragrance. It has a little bit of a soft floral to it, but it's not clean in like a soapy way at all. I don't really love fragrances that are super soapy, but this one is a very good, clean, fresh laundry scent with a little hint of floral.
That's one that I still have to purchase, actually.
It's really good. And it actually lasts longer than people think. Like, I don't know, I wear it to the gym a lot, so I'll like spray it on my gym clothes, and then when I get home, I shower, obviously, so I take the clothes off, and then I'll go back to pick them up, and I can still smell it like the next day or something. So it lasts a lot longer than people think, but it's definitely a very soft scent. It's not like a projective, powerhouse or anything like that.
So the next one is Creed Aventus. I know I'm always talking about this one on my channel. I wore it on my wedding day, wore it all throughout my honeymoon. It's just a very, very professional, very executive smelling fragrance that also has like this fun, youthful, upbeat personality to it with the pineapple, the apple, and the vanilla in the base. I really, really do love this one. And I always reach for the original over some of the clones, although I do still wear a lot of the clones from time to time just because, hey, I purchased them throughout the course of this YouTube career of mine, but the original has a very special place in my heart.
All right, so the number 5 on my list, ones that I love, this sample. Now the sample police are coming. Was sent to me by a friend, Mr. Smelly. This is Naxos by Xerjoff. It's a very iconic, cooler weather, almost like a fresher scent. And I love that the more you smell it, it's like what the Shrek thing, like there's layers to an onion or something, you're peeling off the layers. Right. Yeah, the more you smell it, the more like you uncover, the more depth you find. And I think that the cinnamon and the tobacco adds a very interesting twist on this one. So
I love that. Definitely one of Xerjoff's best. So
yeah,
one of my favorites as well. And so my last pick, my number 5 pick, is La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique by Yves Saint Laurent. And there's just something about this. It has the classy personality of the original with that semi-powdery cardamom and a bit of a sweetness in the base, but it also has like this marine opening that just captivates you with the freshness. So again, very vibrant, very easy to wear, definitely makes people gravitate towards you. And it has that clean, fresh personality about it that I really, really love. So I would also recommend the L'Intense version. I would recommend the original as well. If you can get your hands on Bleu Electrique, I think it would be a worthwhile investment. Love this one so much. All right, so now fragrances that we hate.
Well, hate's a very strong word.
It is indeed.
Hate requires a lot of, energy. So I don't know if I know it's, catchy for the titles, but I wouldn't say that I hate any of these. And I only have one bottle on my list because, why would you own a fragrance that you don't really enjoy? But the first one on my list is Versace Blue Jeans. This one seems to be making a crazy comeback, and I filmed a video reviewing this, and it's one of my most viewed videos, very surprisingly. And it's okay. I think I bought this $15 or something, like at some rag store, but for me it just has this very, very strong lemon cleaner smell that I just can't get over. This like insanely artificial, offensive. See, even the bottle squeaking offensive. It's just a no-go for me. Like, if you want a cheapie, there's so many better things out there. Like, go for the Dreamer. It's 100 times better.
It really is. And I see it all the time at like the airport duty frees.
Yeah.
And they always put it like right in the front by the door. And I'm like, do people still buy blue jeans? I know it's a classic. And I've never owned it, believe it or not.
It's very nostalgic for some people. I think that's what it is. It's just like a childhood memory thing, or teenage years.
And I totally get that. So the first one on my strongly dislike list is by Tommy Hilfiger, and it's Tommy Now Them. So Tommy Now, I think, is the original, and then they made this one, which is kind of like their gender neutral version. And it's not that there's anything wrong with the scent, but it's a very light rose fragrance. And I feel like if you're gonna get a rose that's on the designer side of things, why not get something like Moschino's Toy Boy, which is an amazing rose fragrance. And something on the niche side would be like Lyric for Men. So this one, I'm not into it, just not crazy about this one at all. I gave it lukewarm remarks when I reviewed it, and I don't see anybody ever talking about it, and quite frankly, I'm not surprised.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but you're really going to hate my number 4. But my number 2 is Invictus by Paco Rabanne. It's just, the bottle's a little silly. I don't really, hate on all the bottles by Paco Rabanne. I like the robot. I like the new woman's robot that they're releasing that I don't think it's hit the US yet, but I've been looking for that one. But it's just way too sweet, and it's very boring. I don't know, just nothing impressive. There's a million better Paco Rabannes out there you can get. So I don't really like that one.
Would you say the same thing about the Aqua version?
No, I haven't smelled that one. I've only smelled the OG.
Okay. Yeah, I know for
OG.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, right? Like people talk about the reformulation, and it's definitely on the cloying side of things. So I would, since we're doing designer, I'll mention another designer. So I actually love the one that I'm about to hold up. I don't like the Eau de Toilette. So this is K by Dolce Gabbana. This is the Eau de Parfum. I do love the Eau de Parfum. It takes it in a much darker, spicier direction. The Eau de Toilette has like this overdose of juniper berry, which reminds me of 360 for Men by Perry Ellis, which is so cheap, and it just has a very astringent smell to it. And I know like people love it, and it would probably end up getting me a bunch of compliments, but I just really can't do the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Parfum though is a different story.
Well, my number 3, because I got a sample a couple months ago on this one as well, is Dolce & Gabbana K Eau de Toilette.
You're kidding.
No, I'm serious. I don't know. I found it very underwhelming, and I don't know which concentration a couple of my viewers wear, but they have commented, they're like, I love K, it's my favorite, da, da, da. I'm sorry if I'm offending you, but I just didn't really like it that much.
Yeah.
All the same reasons. Just
didn't work on me. Yeah. I definitely appreciate the honesty. Thank you. Another one, a subscriber was like pestering me, actually in a positive way. I always love the recommendations, but he goes, you got to get this one. You got to get this one. So I got it, and then as soon as I smelled it, I was like, oh, now I got to review it for him, and I don't like it. So I did review it, and it's a cheapie. You can find it for an extravagant discount online. This one by Hugo Boss is called Dark Blue, and I guess there's still love for it. It's very fresh, just a lot of citrus in here, done in a very synthetic way. I just feel like it's very, again, nondescript, doesn't have anything special, any standout characteristics where you'd smell it and you're like, oh, wow, this is interesting or unique or whatever. It really just smells like a mall scent. It smells like something rather inexpensive on the generic side of things. If you're a starter and you're just looking for something easygoing in your collection, it might do some really nice things for you. For me personally, or for us, given the collections that we have, something like that really didn't work for me. So that's gonna go on the back burner real quick.
All right, so now we've made it to my number 4, which is Moschino Toy Boy. This is just a very odd fragrance to me. And it just leans a little too feminine and it's just too polarizing. I don't know. My friend and I smelled it in a video and we both agreed that we would prefer to smell it on a woman than a man. And she came out with the iconic line, because I had her smelling and then rating it, 1 to 10. And she goes, he's a 10, but he wears Moschino Toy Boy. He's a 4.
I don't think we can be friends after that.
Yeah.
But no, I actually get where you're coming from though, because there are a lot of guys that still feel a little self-conscious about wearing floral fragrances. And I think a lot of people are still, and for good reason, they're just not used to smelling something overly floral on a guy. So I totally respect that. And I do see that it has kind of like this polarizing love-hate relationship. So the fragrance that I would talk about in the number 4 spot for me is Creed's Royal English Leather. Now, I don't have the bottle on me. It's actually in a separate location where I also film my videos. And, when I reviewed it, I think I was trying to be very respectful because of the whole like Creed history going back to 1760, blah, 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 blah. Now there's no evidence to suggest that it came out before like just a few decades ago. So it's like this overdose of civet. It's very animalic. It's a very like, almost like a fecal smelling leather fragrance. And apparently it was like the first fragrance they ever made. It's discontinued now, or vaulted in Creed terms. Definitely wouldn't recommend anybody pay the money for it. And it's going for like over $1,000 on auction websites. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So save your money.
Yeah. All right, so the last one on my list, and I can't really believe I'm saying this, but this is what I was saying in the beginning, how hate is a very strong word. Because I honestly, it's hard for me to think of even just 5 men's fragrances that I hate with a passion, right? I think if I had to describe my list, I'd say it's probably in like the most hated to now this is the least. The next one on my list is by Parfums de Marly, Layton. And it's funny that I say it because I know that in Miami, in the Osme perfumery store, it's their number 1 Parfums de Marly seller ever. And I don't know, I was just very underwhelmed by it. I was not very impressed. And well, I thought that it was very like designer-esque. And I just feel like there's much better ones you can buy than Layton.
I hear you. No, it's gotten compared to like Ultra Mall by Jean Paul Gaultier and some of the sweeter designer fragrances. So I totally respect that. For me, while I do like Layton, I prefer Layton Exclusive. And that's something that I've said on camera as well. And I think that, for somebody looking for compliments or just positive attention from others, I think Percival does wonders. It's a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. But I really appreciate you sharing that. And thank you for being so transparent. So the fragrance that I would put probably in the number 1 or number 5 spot, depending on how we're doing it, is by Mancera. And it's called Black Line. And this one, I was like really disappointed because somebody had posted about it online and they're like, oh, wow, 12-hour fragrance, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, sure enough, it does last a long time. I took a trip to Soho in Manhattan and I was like, oh, I'm going to buy it. I don't even need to smell it. And I bought it and it's like this really dirty patchouli that just smells like soil. And I don't think there are any redeeming factors about it. And as you can see, my bottle is still like pretty much full. I still spray it every once in a while just to see if my taste has changed. Like maybe I should give this another chance, but no, sure enough, year after year, I still don't like it. Just
collecting dust.
Absolutely.
Adding bulk.
Listen, that is the beauty of fragrances. You know, they're subjective. There's some that we're gonna really, really like, and there's others that just don't work for us. And that's not always gonna be the case for other people. Some fragrances are beloved by some. And, you know, it's funny, there are fragrances that I've smelled. I didn't like them. I smell it on somebody else, and it smells amazing.
Exactly.
I personally dislike Gucci Guilty Absolute, but I ran into Alberto Morillas at a Fragrance Foundation Award back in 2018. I smelled it on him, and I asked him, I said, what are you wearing? He goes, oh, you know, Gucci Guilty Absolute. And I'm like, smells really good, right? So I wouldn't wear it, but anyway, just goes to show. Erica, thank you so much for being on my channel. I really do appreciate it. You're wonderful. You're such a natural. So thank you for gracing us with your presence and your intelligence. It means a lot.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, once again, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. If you haven't already done so, hit the bell and give the video a thumbs up. And also make sure to check out Erica's channel. It's going to be the first link in the description below. Thanks again for watching. Love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.